Brian Bingman has been a mayor, a state representative, and the only man to serve 3 terms as the Republican pro tem in the Oklahoma Senate. Now he's joined the executive branch as Governor Stitt's Secretary of State and Native American Affairs. OETA News Director Rich Lenz recently spoke to him about the issues he'll be addressing in his new role.
Talk about those experiences, what you learned in those positions, and how it might help you carry over to your new role as Secretary of State and Native American Affairs.
My first 2 years in the Senate was probably one of my the most fun I've ever had, because we had a tie. We had 24 Republicans, 24 Democrats. It's really been exciting for me, because having spent all the time in the legislature, that things are different on the executive side. The turnover in the last 3 years is tremendous. You know, I've been out since 2016, so I'm trying to get to know all the new legislators.
Did he approach you, and what did he say he wanted you to do?
I think there were some issues that was not a successful session. COVID, just everything that went on. It was a difficult time for the legislature and the governor, and so he was looking for make some changes on his team, and so I think I've got a lot to offer and what the governor was looking for. So we hit it off.
With COVID and so forth, the money that was there in past years is not there. I guess it's gonna be a real crunch in terms of deficits and budgets, isn't it?
It's going to be challenging. We've been there before. When I was in the legislature, we had a couple tough sessions where the budget was definitely at the forefront with the lack of the revenues that we've had in previous years. So that's probably where we're going to be again this year.
It appears that the governor, it seems like he's trying to bolster. Is that all contingent or based around the McGirt decision, and simply the governor saying, okay, we got a new reality here, and I need some more help to navigate this?
Well, I think the McGirt decision has created something that we've never had to deal with before. We want to reach out to the sovereign tribes, and I think part of my role is to establish good relationships with the tribes. That they're a very important aspect to the state of Oklahoma. They are Oklahomans, so I think they can contribute, and they have contributed much to Oklahoma and to our economy. And
the TSET funding formula was resoundingly defeated. Thoughts on how you pay for Medicaid expansion?
It's disappointing that did not pass. So that means that it's got to come from our revenue stream that we have, in our budget. So that will definitely take away from revenues that we could use to, for other agencies. Now, where we pull that from, remains to be seen. Everybody's going to have their priorities of things they want to protect and priorities of, where they want to cut. So we'll have to find some happy medium.
You've had a wonderful career in both the private and public sector, and yet it appears that, you continue to come back to the public sector, to the public forum, and get back into that arena. Why?
Great question. When I left in 2016, I thought my phone went dead because it wasn't working anymore. Wasn't getting any phone calls. So I did have some institutional knowledge. Anyone who's been there, with term limits, you're probably limited, in the legislature when it comes to that institutional knowledge. So the governor was looking for someone who had been there and had that experience, and I guess my name popped up a couple of places, and so he hit me at the right time. It gets in your blood. It's the people, the relationships that you make in the Capitol. I think it's very special, and so for me to be able to come back and be a part of that and contribute, I think it's an honor. It will be a big part of what I remember in my career is that time that I've served the state of Oklahoma.
Brian Bingman, Secretary of State and Native American Affairs, congratulations on that, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Rich. Always good to see you.
Coming up later in this newscast, we will continue our discussion of the McGirt decision and tribal sovereignty when Susan Cadeau goes in depth with the leaders of 2 Oklahoma tribes.